My check, my check. Hey, how's it going? All right, so this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put myself right here, and then I'm gonna read this out so that you're able to, so you're basically able to see what I'm doing or not doing, and then also I'm gonna be reading out so that I can show you the vocabulary that's being utilized at the moment, and then at the same time, it allows me to be aware in regards to whatever steps I need to be taking, as well as the people that are around me. The steps that they're taking, not taking, or whatever it is that they need to be doing for themselves and or the people around them. So it was like this. This was my last journal entry and or also my last thank you note, and it goes a little bit like this. So I'm gonna go ahead and read this out. Hopefully you can hear that also in the background because that's essentially what I'm dealing with. It's one of those things where schedule and routine anyway. So I'm gonna go ahead and read this out so that you're able to see. I'm gonna try to also make this in a timely manner as well. I haven't done a captain's note in a while, so I do want to kind of check in right after this scenario. I think I'm gonna go ahead and read this, and then from there, I'm gonna go ahead and show you another document in regards to what it is that I'm doing and the goals that I had already set and are also achieving. So it goes like this. This was done June 2nd, 2024. Dear base god, still fucking useless. Literally sitting at the command center. It's been months still, edged in memory. Fuck me over and over. Anything and everything reminds and ever looping. Fucking stupid that is putting into this writing at knowledge. So what? What's the point if you have to do everything yourself? Fucking dumb. Money and fucking crackhead. I have tried every route, and yet here we are still in the midst of fucking insanity. So-called identification and pieces of myself scattered throughout the world, useless pieces of shit roaming set. Thanks for the fucking nothing and everything. Can't wait for more dumb shit. Way to go wasting your fucking life away on your bed and or dumbass dating apps. Chubby cheeks ain't gonna make you feel better. You already tried that. Remember yet again, Antonio, for fuck's sakes, piece of fucking shit. Do your work like an actual shit that matters and make you money or whatever the fuck. Find yourself someone to fucking talk to appropriately, a mentor, coach. Move forward, move far, and completely fucking process and end it. Be a true nobody. And at one point, all what you have done and sent out will be shut down anyways. Who gives a fuck? I don't know. Besides not living, what else I could do to not care for shit. Good luck to whoever the fuck. I am set. I gave up a long time ago. Whatever is conjured, that's what you fucking deserve. All right. So with that being said, so let me go ahead and put that into context. Okay. So if language is a reflection of whatever is internal and whatever I'm seeing out there, by all means, pieces of shit or whatever it is, the fuck, I'm gonna go ahead and coin that, and I'm also gonna define it as well. Um, it's one of those things of really understanding what words are, how to go about utilizing them, and what is defined, and then also goes into understanding the individual or fucking getting rid or any of that nature where language of that sorts doesn't exist. So goes like this. I'm gonna go ahead and talk in regards to a couple of things. So it goes like this. So I just want to say like final checkup, Beeline LLC, and that's not happening. It's one of those things where once I have everything in certification set up, I'll go ahead and do that. Then still in the backdrop. Dates incoming, action plan, inventory, Amazon wish list has already been made. Just in any case, once those things start rolling in, that way so I already know what it is materials and or styles that I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Dream journal, morning journal, gratitude journal, question book, and then the artist way. These have been that's not it. Uh, essentially, journals and all that. Fuck that. I'm not gonna be writing absolutely anything. And then I had also explained the whole notion of the magic trick, right? It's like, how do you go about doing a magic trick, the magic trick itself, and then the audience that's being done. So it's one of those things where not involving absolutely anyone. And then on top of that, too, all the information and or step by steps are also in my platforms. And so it's one of those things where I'm not here to fucking explain myself over and over to fucking retards who fucking can't understand or don't understand fucking language and or words and or whatever the fuck that needs to be done so that routinely and we can prevent things from happening, but whatever the fuck, you know? So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and go over essentially, I'm gonna go ahead and essentially go over the documents that I had created for the family. And I say the family, like it's one of those things. I'm gonna set them up and then fucking disappear one more time. And it goes like this. So personal goes like this. You go to admin, you go to bam. So what I've done is there's a roommate agreement that has already been shared, and that is like the most basic. That's like should I pick up my shit or not? Should I blah blah blah? So it's like super simple. Like I had also reworded it for the kindergarten and or also elementary school levels. That way so that anyone and everyone, even including retards and or mentally ill, can also read that. Then it goes like this. Speaking of mentally ills, it goes like this. Put down a grocery list, and then I also did a solid resume for my mom. She just got a fucking another call, interview, or whatever the fuck, in the same sense of like providing the appropriate not only documentation and also the wording on that documentation so you can properly get the job that you need to get and or the one that you're good at or whatever the fuck. So having a set whatever schedule or whatever the fuck that's already underway, and I had also said in around a 3-year period. So getting all that, getting essentially all that shit pretty much set up. And then the fourth year is essentially transition year into fucking whatever the fuck timeshare or whatever the. So then it goes like that. I also created a chore list, but that's for the crackhead piece of shit retard that I have to fucking live with. So it's one of those things where one at a time, it looks like he's fucking putting himself out there or what have you. And then we're also on the works of trying to get him another job so that he won't be here. He can be somewhere else fucking doing his thing or whatever the fuck. And it's one of those things. So the goal is to essentially have this place or have a period of time where there's like fucking no one here or everyone's doing their fucking thing and you know we can take turns fucking really enjoying that or whatever the fuck. So it was like that chore list. So it has already pre-written on there, and they also did a fucking spreadsheet or what have you. It has other things on there. So I'm gonna continue watching the fuck out of him and then seeing what is being done, what's not being done, things that I can add on there or what have you. And then lost in his own fucking world or whatever the fuck. It's one of those things where I really have to accept it and or really take a look at essentially how to go about treating someone that has fucking retardation. And it's one of those things where pretending that they don't have it and or pretending to like fucking have them do the best that they can or encourage that or whatever, it's fucking no, like fuck no. It's one of those things where those things need to be fucking forced in a specific way, and so that's being fucking done. And so it's one of those things where there's a lot of things that you can do to an individual or what have you to get them fucking in a habitual sense where they're actually taking care of themselves and they're doing that on a constant basis. It's habitual, and then on top of that it also prevents a lot of other things like sickness or fucking like other types of retardation that definitely stick to an individual and or groups of people. So I think that's happening within this group here. Um, Retardation is pretty high within this family. Cultural awareness is none. There's little to none. And then on top of that, like historical and or roots, it's also understandable. And on top of that, too, when I talk about substances and or drug usage, pharmaceuticals, and or all that lovely jazz, that's a lot of factors in there. So it's one of those things where one item at a time so that it doesn't overwhelm or whatever the fuck here. So emotions tend to run high here apparently, and so it's one of those things where I can't pretend anymore where it's like, oh, they're yelling, okay, I should yell too, or just fucking copying whatever the fuck they're doing because it doesn't do anything. It's fucking horrid, and it's one of those things where the generations are fucking seeing that, and so by all means. So I had already explained too that there's a solid awareness, so like 6th or 7th sense, whatever the fuck, but there's a lot of information and or knowledge that has been taking place, and also it's one of those things of really putting that into work. And so knowing the development stages of a individual, as far as elementary school, middle school, and or high school, and then on top of that the adult notions of like actually putting yourself out there, getting Medicare, fucking understanding your taxes or whatever the dumb shit that comes in along with that, and actually getting a position and or a career that you're going to be moving up to, and or have a goal in the sense of like raising up your hourage or fucking going into a salary or fucking actually like understanding that there is professionalism out there. And family doesn't have anything to do with that. Like, we are professionals, have gone through amounts of hours and hours of fucking training, degrees, certificates, whatever the fuck. And so I can't have absolutely anyone come in and tell me otherwise. Where's your fucking certificate? Where's the books that you fucking written? Where are the fucking journals? Where are the notes that you've taken? Where is all that shit? So like, if there's absolutely anything that's not fucking written, and there's fucking absolutely this white supremacy documentation type shit, like, by all means, fucking, it's one of those things where I'm gonna have and put people in their fucking place, which is nowhere anywhere near me. And so it's one of those things where physically I can be around fucking whatever, but mentally there's absolutely no fucking time nor place to fucking waste my life on fucking things that don't fucking matter, in the sense of like, if it's not getting me somewhere where I need to go as far as reaching my goals, then get the fuck out of my way, or else I'm gonna fucking put you in your place, which is out of my fucking way. So it's one of those things where I have all these little tools or what have you, super easy. Elementary school fucking kids can fucking put this into play. I have had over the fact of like the amount of work and experience in the sense of being able to see those changes and habitual changes. By all means, like, here, take 2 of these and fucking call me in the morning. So, or you know what? Don't fucking call me in the morning. So it goes like that. I had already set a solid SMART goal page as well. I had set a set for 3 years. It's a 3 year span, and that's what I told my family out in Mexico as well. Like, no one's gonna fucking see me for a fucking cool minute. It's one of those things where uh, respectfully, I think everyone needs to fucking stay in their own fucking lane for sure. Respectfully. It's one of those things where I've been out of the fucking way for a very long time. And it's one of those things where I was fucking dragged right back in. So it's one of those things where I didn't ask fuck to fucking be here and or be anywhere, absolutely anywhere other than where I was. And so it's one of those things where, um, sure, if you want me to have responsibility, by all means, fucking, it's one of those things where careful what you fucking ask for type scenarios. It's the amount of outcomes that I've had, by all means, overpass whatever the fuck it is that might be going or what have you. It's just it's too much. Talked about suicide, social suicide. There's different types out there, what have you. And so it's one of those things where I'm so glad that I fucking had fucking yelled that out or fucking told that out or whatever the fuck. Because again, I'm gonna go ahead and like fucking relay back in. It's like people don't know, I don't understand what fucking words are and how I go out about utilizing them, and or also going about communicating with one another or whatever the fuck. And so if this is a fucking right direction in regards to a direct reflection of like who and what I am or whatever the fuck, by all means, please understand. I've already done all the work. Fucking, it's one of those things of I've been telling a lot of people to get this shit together or whatever the fuck, and it's one of those things where I'm not here to repeat any of that. So I have a financial master plan for Richard Jr. and then my mom as well. And then by all means, it's one of those things where family means something different to me. Fucking the word family, fucking whatever, brothers and sisters, whatever the fuck, like that in itself is not a fucking at all important to me. It's a fact of like, go and get your shit done. Like, if you're not doing things or whatever the fuck, or like you're not properly doing or taking the steps to prevent or any of that, then by all means, fucking go do that somewhere else and fucking, like, I'm not here to fucking walk behind anyone or whatever the fuck. And this guy's getting a fucking heavy hand because he's like sleeping right next to me and stinks like fuck. So it's one of those things where it's either him or me, and it's not gonna be me fucking me. It's for sure. It's not gonna be fucking me. So it's one of those things where I'm fucking tired in the sense of like putting this information out there, and then it's one of those things of understanding of like being able to believe or not, or like whatever the fuck, or just fucking scenario is ego or whatever the fuck gets in the way of being able to ask for things, or what, I don't know, fucking it's, it's fucking it's gay and faggot like in the sense of like fucking leech, like something here is fucking leeching. It's one of those things of like you know it's one of those things where it it we're we're I was gonna say mature enough, but I, it's one of those things where like yeah. So so that's that, right? Solid, thank you, know. Thank you so much. It's one of those things where like throughout these years, all of my work has been really like positive, or like fucking trying to like in a sense really best word the idea of what I'm doing in a solid positive way, even though there's just struggles and things of that nature in between or what have you, right? But then it's one of those things where like fuck that. It's one of those things where I'm gonna go ahead and be as fucking negative and or utilize fucking uh profanity and in whatever fucking sense of the words that you're able to see or hear this idea called frustration or like quote unquote anger, or fucking this idea of like imagine this but like in a much louder sense of the word, or like louder voice or whatever the fuck. It's one of those things where like it fucking yeah, it's fucking it's childish, and it's one of those things where there's so many fucking cool trips like just in the ideology of like what could actually go on in a solid like household and our safe space and our like that kind of thing as well. But again, I've tried putting those things out there, and or like trying to put out the ideas out there, or like slowly but surely. And so goes into that. So my last thing is this vow of silence or what have you. By all means, like master's PhD is coming up, and like the idea of becoming a doctor or a type of doctor is on the other hand too. That way, so that I can be like an extra dick out there and be like, "Whoa, I have a PhD and blah blah blah," and like I could just fucking put that out there, fucking the dissertation, so I can say that I fucking written even more books. A mastery's coming up. It's like went into the whole idea of leadership training or what have you. And then there's a PhD for that. And then I reached out to the school's fucking reaching out like hella. So I'm not sure what's going on with that, but went into the whole notion of scholarships, financial aid and all that. And then from there it'll be essentially trying to make my way in there. And so right now it goes into the idea of the teacher apprentice or what have you. So that's coming up as well, where I get to be a substitute teacher for a year, and then eventually have my own classroom where they're helping out with certifications. And then taking the certification for a paraeducator, and then anything else, and also all the jobs or what have you. So it's one of those things where this vow of silence is like I'm gonna keep my word to myself for a very long time in the sense of like fucking putting people in their fucking place for sure. It's one of those things where there's so many options out there and fucking people choose to be shit. So it's one of those things, or grow up to be shit, or fucking I don't know, have fucking shit that comes out of them. I don't know. But I think for me it's one of those things where yeah, it's an understanding that I can build someone up and just tear them out. Just I understand where the ejection button is to every building, and or the idea of having someone built and then having an escape route. It's one of those things where I'm being really mindful, in the sense of like what I'm writing down, how much I'm writing down, what it is actually that I'm saying, not only out loud, but also internally as well. And then I've seen a lot of things come to fruition. There's a lot of examples. And then on top of that too, the prescription that I'm taking as well. understanding that pharmaceuticals from like an actual hospital and or like a clinic or things of that nature, like prescription drugs are extremely like powerful. And so I'm close to finishing up with my Prozac and or the Prozac that was, I'm gonna put like this, like they were they asked me like 3 or 4 questions at this place, and then they were like, here, you need antidepressants. So mind you, I'm gonna put it like this, okay? For a very gleeful person to take even more, taking a prescription that also enhances the inhibitors of your like sensibility or whatever. It's one of those things where like in the sense of like the condition, it was like whatever I was prescribed was not for whatever it is that I had said out there, if that makes any sense. Like I consulted and then there was like immediately it was like here's some prescriptions, go ahead and take this. And it was a very long prescription as well. And so for me, I essentially just allowed for more madness, I guess. There's a lot of shit that was going on during these last like 2 to 3 weeks, 4 weeks, I think, that I've been taking this dumb shit. And then it's one of those things where you're like, thank God I was taking it because a lot of the shit that was going on is just like really dumb. And so it's like shit that's trying to like fish you in, you know, it's like little things that are trying to like fish you in and cause something. And so this prescription here really allows for it to like fucking not be there, if that makes any sense. I haven't been here for like a solid like almost a year, what have you, and then boom, it's like I am this here is non-existent. You know, it's like yeah, I'm here or whatever, and the whole leave no trace behind, the whole notion of it's one of those things where people really want attention, and so it goes into that. It's like this prescription really allowed for that stuff to be like pushed off, if that makes sense. It's like, oh great. And then I'll do the example too, is like yelling was happening, and so it was like mid Prozac, and I was just like my body went into like fucking shock basically. It was like, oh, like fucking folks are yelling or whatever. And then I came out here and I was like yelling, and then it's like mid yell, I was like, this is fucking dumb in the sense of like yelling out more. And so that's where the retard comes in. Um, yeah, that's where the retardation comes in. That's where the words of retardation come in. Also, it's one of those things where like it it's like I gotcha, you know, like that kind of shit. It's like, oh, it's like names are mentioned or whatever the fuck, and it's like, oh, I gotcha, nope, I gotcha, you know, like shit like that. And so, um, yeah, it's really shitty. It's shitty in the sense of like, even for me, it's like be better, just just be better. Like that's it. Like that is it. Okay. So with that being said, it goes like this. Um, Understanding the child development stages, boom. I also understand my notion and my part when it comes to raising, and I say raising in the sense of like I'm here and like it's noted, right? There's a solid presence or what have you. Understanding the development stages or what have you, I'm right on track. Definitely been right on track. And it's one of those things where the funner times should be coming along, and or if not, then by all means, like I disassociation and or social suicides and or the idea of getting rid of things that don't matter or don't are not adding anything to your own life. So it's like this, it's like just nice and easy, you know. It's one of those things where there's people that love them, people that take care of them or want to take care of them or want to love them or whatever. So I mean, it's fucking go over there, you know. It's one of those things where you don't need that shit from me, I don't have any of that shit to give out. It's one of those things where you're like I no, no, I no, yeah, no, no. And then it goes like this. Ah, man, that felt fucking fantastic. It's one of those things where I find it really eerie. I find it really like fucking frustrating to like want to be frustrated or want to be angry or like these ill feelings, right? So it goes like this. But put those to the side. Holy fuck. 60 jobs, 15 to 20 interviews, and then about 4 positions that I'm currently at. Came here in March, April, May, June, July, August, 6 month period. 6 month period, and on top of that too, okay, it's like a solid year or so out, being out, okay? Here's where you're at. $3,000 to $4,000 in debt. That's gonna be easy, bro. Like I'm fucking not worried about that. Then comes in like your credit score, right? So with these 4 positions here, it's like teacher, apprentice, certifications come in, your pay rate will be definitely going up as well, right? The goal is 30 to 35. I'm at 25 at the moment. And so a $10 increase within my wages, like that. Also understanding that I don't absolutely need anything, especially being out in Mexico or have you. There is maybe like 2 or 3 more boxes that might be needing to throw away and or also donate. And it's like I essentially got rid of everything that I have either created, collected, or anything of that nature, and have left myself with a bit of clothes. And then that's gonna be replaced as well. That way, so I can get some of this clothes that just a reminder, a constant reminder, where I can like change that out, right? I also tried the online scenario, and then I met up with a few people out there, and by all means, I think I really fucked that up for myself in the sense of like peaking. Like I peaked pretty hard, and it's one of those things where like even being around other people or trying to be like romantic with them is like fucking ugh. And so it's one of those things where it it just allows me, I like cleaned out my slate essentially. Throughout all my binderage, I took threw out a good amount of like my like everything. I had said that that stuff was like essentially violated, and so it was more of like good riddance to all that stuff. And then on top of that, it's understanding that you can build absolutely everything you can. And so I'm just being a little bit more mindful in the sense of what I'm building, how I'm going after it, and things like that. And so understanding that I'm extremely qualified goes like this. I'm just better. That's pretty much it. Okay. Each individual person has their own niches, their own mannerisms, their own quirks, or what have you. And so for me, understanding that I've been in the personal wellness development scene for about 10 to 15 years, it's one of those things where that's all I see now. So not to not have any of these negative people around, because negative people do happen and they do not change. By all means, habitually, forcefully will change. And so it's one of those things where like you really pushing, can be absolutely anything. It could be a project, could be an individual or what have you. And so that's how I'm seeing this process here. Like I'm not looking at my family in the sense of like, look, I'm not oldest in the sense of like having like family trauma when I was like younger. And so like obviously I was separated or what have you. And so I have a solid separation scenario going on as far as like my attachment. So it's one of those things where I have all that understanding for at least for myself and how I've like definitely studied myself, what I go about, what I like, all that shit. So can't have someone else come in and believe that they can do that for you. It's one of those things where like if they know, they know. If they don't, they don't. And if they don't, sucks to suck. It's one of those things where like fucking life choices were made. And so mine, okay, mine goes like this. If I were to put it in a funny story, fucking dated a drug dealer, got some fucking shit going on in there, and then fucking got spit out, basically. So it's one of those things where it's like finger licking good, It's like basically sucked everything out of me or what have you. And so this idea of recovery out in Mexico and then also finding my artistic home out in Amsterdam, Netherlands, and then fucking traveling all that, it's one of those things where fucking whack, 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 whack folks can fucking suck my dick and be any they can be absolutely anywhere other than in my own vicinity. Let me put it like that. It's one of those things where you're like, have already experienced all that or what have you. And so understanding that people come and go, there's fucking huge amounts of people that come in and out or what have you, and they have their own skills and mannerisms or what have you. Comparison isn't there, right? Comparison isn't there. It's like different fields, different person, different emotions, feelings, or like plans of attack and things like that. So as fucking negative as I would like to be and fucking just tell the world to fuck off and burn off or whatever the fuck, as well as myself. That's also myself included because I'm saying these things and I'm also fucking expressing these things out there in this type of platform as well. And so whatever I say is for me specifically. If I'm putting anything out there and for sure is like that shit's all coming back to me. So I rather have it here where it's like, yeah, I did say those things, it's right there, and or also be part of the process because I have the entire clusterfuck of my 32nd year of life all recorded. And so yeah, interventions if I did have any, and or if you call it that, fucking circling, and or I'll fucking just like trying to set ways or whatever the fuck. And so it's one of those things where it's gonna be a while before I have the ability to speak comfortably with someone. And then it's gonna be a very long while before I have enough trust for my family in order to like actually treat them well. And so it's one of those things where I'm fucking over it. I'm fucking over dumb fucks and fucking retards that don't fucking take the steps necessary that are fucking easy to have a safe clean environment so that fucking diseases and shit like that don't grow or fucking negative energies or whatever frequencies or whatever the fuck people believe in or whatever the fuck. But this amount of knowledge like really allows me to fucking just sit still and watch fucking shit go by because understanding that you do have the power of putting your fucking foot forward and or doing something or just fucking moving forward in general. And so um as much as that sounds like anger, frustration, and or sadness or whatever the fuck, it's one of those things where it's not. I'm being as fucking real as I can possibly be with the things that are fucking happening, and so it's only to a specific understanding, and so it just goes back. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. And then if you suck, you suck. there's no there's no getting away from that, unless there is. I don't know. Yeah, eventually, if you go somewhere else and like start new or whatever the fuck, you can not be a dick. But I mean, eventually, eventually. So yeah, yeah, trying to sound positive and or like native or whatever the fuck. Like, it's just like that's where the vowel science comes in. It's like fucking really dumb shit, and then it's like there's a lot to unpack there. Put it like that. Okay, so let's see here. I think I'm gonna leave it there. I think it's a pretty solid start. Thanks for reading the note. And it's one of those things where it's like really laughable. It's like fucking there's a fucking whole ass video of me in the middle of fucking jungle doing this shit. So I saying goes, time travels when you are having fun. Yeah. I'm looking at it now. There's a lot of things in the works. A lot. A lot of things. So here, take two of these, call me in the morning. I love you. I care for you. And thanks for checking in.